Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something that is literally reshaping the bedrock of our democracies. We're breaking down the wild and honestly, sometimes kind of startling intersection of digital privacy, artificial intelligence, and modern political campaigning. You know, we usually picture campaigns as this world of handshakes, loud rallies, and kissing babies, right? Well, today, that old playbook is getting completely rewritten by algorithms, data scientists, and synthetic media. We are shifting from the physical town square straight into a deeply personalized digital reality. So let's jump right in and see exactly how this transformation is going down.
Now, I want to start off by asking you a question that might sound like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. What happens when holograms and robots knock on your door for a vote? Wild, right? But here's the thing. This isn't some hypothetical scenario set 50 years in the future. This is the actual reality playing out right now on the ground ahead of the 2026 Tamil Nadu elections. Technology has officially hit the campaign trail, and it is aggressively looking for your vote.
Okay, let's dive into this. The TVK party, led by actor-turned-politician Vijay, is completely swapping out those traditional cardboard cutouts for silicon and circuits. Just listen to these tactics. Over in Coimbatore, the party rolled out a fully functional walking robot. Draped in a party shawl, this thing literally marched alongside candidates during roadshows. It turned a standard canvassing stroll into an absolute viral sensation. And meanwhile, in Kumbakonam, they used a holographic projection of Vijay. This allowed him to virtually greet supporters, basically letting him be in two places at once. Throw in some AI-generated audio replicating his exact voice to speak to crowds when he wasn't even physically there, and you have a totally new campaign style. They're clearly branding themselves as the forward-thinking choice to pull in a younger generation, blending grand visual drama with cutting-edge tech.
Section 1. The Invisible Persuasion Machine. Because really, what we're seeing with the holograms and robots, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The massive, invisible data structures running beneath the surface are where the real action is.
To grasp the sheer scale of this invisible machinery, we have to look back at this massive number, 87 million. That is the number of Facebook users whose data was harvested in the infamous Cambridge Analytica case. This wasn't just a basic data breach. It proved to the world that large-scale psychological profiling was technically possible. It showed that our personal digital habits could be scraped without any explicit, meaningful consent to build these massive, invisible political targeting operations.
It's almost like our minds and our data are becoming completely intertwined. I mean, campaigns have evolved way past simple demographic targeting. They aren't just looking at your age, your gender, or your zip code anymore. Today, it's all about deep psychographic profiling. They're analyzing your digital behavioral traces. We're talking about what you click, how long you hover over an article, what you like. They use all of that to infer your deep psychological characteristics, your personality traits, your core values, and what actually motivates you.
And what's truly fascinating, or maybe a little terrifying, is just how accurate this profiling has become. When researchers measured personality prediction accuracy using what's called an R value, the results were eye-opening. Check this out. A computational algorithm predicting your personality using just your Facebook likes hit an R value of 0.56. To put that into perspective, the algorithm's 0.56 is nearly matching the accuracy of a person's own spouse, which sits at 0.58. Literally, an algorithm knows you almost as well as your husband or wife. And if you look at multimodal fusion, which is when they combine data from multiple platforms, like smartphone location traces, WhatsApp usage, and Instagram filters, the accuracy shoots up to 0.65. A machine with absolutely no social relationship to you can understand your psychological triggers better than the people closest to you. Crazy, right?
Section 2. Drawing ethical data lines. With all this invisible tracking going on, researchers are pushing back hard, trying to build ethical guardrails to protect our autonomy as voters.
So this immense predictive power naturally brings us to a critical crossroads. How do we draw the line between ethical communication and straight-up manipulation? Let's walk through the Responsible Audience Analytics Charter proposed by behavioral researchers. It clearly divides data use into three distinct categories. Category 1 is consensual research. That's where you explicitly opt in and get a demonstrable benefit. Category 2 is inferential. This is used transparently just to make content more relevant to you, and you can easily opt out. But then there's Category 3, covert profiling. This is where your psychological profile is shared with third parties, like political campaigns, totally behind your back to manipulate your behavior. The Charter makes it crystal clear. This third category must be strictly prohibited because it fundamentally violates our basic political rights.
Section 3. The regulators strike back. Because, let's face it, academic guidelines are one thing, but we need actual laws on the books. So let's see how the Election Commission of India is stepping in.
Let's see how this actually builds out in the real world. The Election Commission of India has laid down specific, incredibly strict mandates that all parties must now follow regarding synthetic content to maintain a level playing field. First up, any AI-altered image, audio, or video must have a clear label, like AI-generated, that covers at least 10% of the screen. No hiding it in the fine print. Second, the creator's identity must be prominently disclosed right in the metadata. And third, and this is absolutely the big one, any synthetic misinformation has to be taken down within exactly 3 hours of being reported.
The official ECI advisory document makes it very clear this is not a gentle suggestion. It is a strict compliance order. That 3-hour takedown window is absolutely crucial. I mean, think about it. In the fast-paced world of a digital campaign, an AI-generated deepfake can go totally viral and sway thousands of opinions in a matter of minutes. By forcing parties to dismantle misinformation almost immediately, the ECI is urgently trying to close that window where digital manipulation does its worst damage to voter trust.
Section 4. The human loopholes. Because even with the most sophisticated AI rules in place, politicians always seem to find incredibly human loopholes to bypass the system.
And that brings us to a fascinating controversy currently unfolding on the ground. The contrast here is pretty striking. While the regulators are zeroed in on complex synthetic content and AI metadata, the TVK party's campaign strategy completely sidestepped these tech frameworks. How? By focusing on children and minors. The campaign urged kids, who are obviously way below the voting age, to act as political messengers right inside their own homes. They essentially asked these non-voting children to pressure their families to vote for the party's whistle symbol, turning them into highly effective, entirely human campaign multipliers. No AI required.
Well, as you might expect, this strategy sparked an immediate and intense pushback. A child rights NGO has officially stepped in, filing a formal complaint directly with the Election Commission. They're making the case that children should absolutely never be used as tools for political persuasion. The complaint explicitly flags that urging kids to pressure their parents can cause unnecessary psychological distress. After all, kids just aren't equipped to process complex political agendas. The child rights body is now demanding an official apology from the TVK chief, arguing that this crosses a major ethical line, even if there isn't a single algorithm involved.
So, what does this all mean? It brings us right back to the core of everything we've looked at today. From walking robotic canvassers and AI voice clones to 87 million deep psychographic profiles, right down to campaigns recruiting actual children as political influencers, it really forces us to ask, is the ultimate threat to free and fair elections the technology itself, the algorithms and the data, or is the real threat the incredibly creative and sometimes highly controversial ways that humans choose to manipulate the people using it? It's a dynamic, wild landscape out there, and understanding these invisible forces is the only way we can navigate it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning the campaign tactics you see, both on your screens and on your streets.